Welcome to the DAN show. The 2020 NFL schedule has been released. I'm going to break down the Chiefs schedule. Now, keep in mind, this channel, I want to talk with 32 different fan bases. So if you want me to break down your team schedule, drop a comment below, shoot me an email. I got a new email address, the danshow@yahoo.com. So, hey, let's break down the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs schedule. All right, but before I reveal the schedule, there's three big things I'm thinking about before the schedule is released. First thing is the season opener. The Kansas City Chiefs under Andy Reid are 6-1 under season openers here, and the only loss is one of the flukiest games you'll ever see. It was after the 2014 season, Andy Reid's second season here. Alex Smith threw 3 interceptions that game. He threw 6 interceptions the whole year, so half of them was in that season opener. Both Mike DeVito and Derek Johnson both ruptured their Achilles tendons in that game. I've had season tickets since 1989. I've seen this happen 3 times. The only other time was Kimball Anders. I believe it was in the 98 or 99 season. Ended his career. He had a great game. It was like 130, 140 yards. He was going to take a handoff, just fell down. No contact. It was just a weird injury. I'm just bringing this up because the circumstances during that game were some of the weirdest circumstances I've ever seen. Bottom line, Andy Reid for season openers is as close to a lock as you will get. Second thing is Andy Reid after a bye. Now, keep in mind, I'm only talking about his time here in Kansas City. He has a really good record in Philly as well, but Kansas City is 5-2 after a bye. The only 2 losses was the first season here. They had a really good game against Denver. And then at 2017, they lost against the Giants. It was a really weird game. The Chiefs were heavy favorites. They just didn't show up. But bottom line, season opener, 6-1 after a bye, 5-2. So I'm really kind of paying attention to those 2 games. And the third thing I'm paying attention to is that since Andy Reid has taken over the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs have had a minimum of 5 consecutive wins every single season. Last year, they were 6-4, won 6 straight. So it happened at the end of the season. His first season here, they start off 9-0, I think it was. Then they had to bye and then lost after the bye, which is kind of strange. But so the 3 things that I'm looking for before the schedule comes out is season opener, who the Chiefs are going to play after the bye, and where is that 5-game winning streak, minimum 5-game win streak, going to come in at. All right, I got the schedule. I'm going to post it right over here. And let's just, what did I say? I said there's 3 things I'm going to look for. Season opener. Well, the Chiefs as Super Bowl winners, they're going to kick the NFL season off at home versus the Houston Texans, a team that the Chiefs played twice during the 2019 season. They lost during the regular season at Arrowhead to these Houston Texans, but when they played them in the playoffs, of course, they had that great playoff victory. And then if you look also, I see that they played the Raiders after their bye. And here's the thing, the Raiders actually don't have a bye that week. They have I didn't look and see where the bye week was, but the Raiders are going to play Denver. Then they're going to play Kansas City. So back-to-back home games against AFC West opponents. One thing I thought that was interesting is none of the Chiefs' opponents will have a bye before they play Kansas City. It's pretty cool edge. And also, I think, I'm not going to lie here, it's kind of an unfair advantage. We get a bye, but the Raiders don't. But it's a good thing for us. So a thumbs up for NFL schedule makers there. And then I'm going to break down the schedule by quarters. Then I'm going to show you where that 5-game win streak is most likely to happen. First quarter here, obviously the Thursday night game, it's going to be awesome. The second game of the season, it's interesting because the Chargers opened the season in Cincinnati, but they're opening up their brand new stadium against Kansas City. No more soccer stadium, no more playing in front of 25,000 Chiefs fans. There's going to be lots of red, but it's not going to be mostly red like it was the last couple of years. This is going to be the opening of a brand new stadium. it's going to be very exciting for Chargers and Chargers fans. So it's going to be a difficult game for Kansas City. And then the next two games, a Monday Night Football against Baltimore in Baltimore. Then a short week, basically you lose that extra day against New England. You got to come back home and play New England on a short week. So basically 3 AFC playoff opponents plus a divisional opponent who's opening up a brand new stadium. As far as first quarters of the season, it doesn't get much more difficult than that for the Kansas City Chiefs. The second quarter here starts off the Raiders at home, then travel to Buffalo for Thursday Night Football, then at Denver, and then home against the Jets. The second quarter is significantly easier than the first quarter. Only one playoff opponent from 2019. I also think it's kind of a bonus that we'll play at Denver with some extra rest. We're playing at home before Buffalo on that Thursday night game. We play at home. Buffalo's going to play at Tennessee. Hopefully Derrick Henry wears them out. I'm not sure how significant that's going to be. Hopefully Buffalo will be battered and bruised from Derrick Henry. Basically, this second quarter is much easier than the first quarter. All right, the third quarter here, the first NFC opponent we play. It's kind of strange. We play 8 straight AFC opponents. Usually it's a little more split up, but that's okay. The first NFC opponent is Carolina. Then it's a bye. Then we'll play the Raiders Sunday night in Vegas. And I think it's key because the Raiders will play Denver. And then we can see how they match up against Denver while we have a bye. I think it's kind of an unfair advantage, but good for us. And then lots of people have Tampa Bay hyped this year, obviously, because of Brady and Gronkowski, but they weren't a playoff opponent last year. And then we finish up Sunday night against Denver at Arrowhead. And bottom line, if you're going off of 2019, there's no playoff opponents. Keep in mind, teams will fluctuate from year to year. It's really hard to say. But if you're going by the 2019 metrics, this would be the easiest out of the 3 quarters so far. The bye week is week 10. I think it's a perfect time for a bye. And I'm also, the only thing I'm saying is that I really hope from personal experience that the Chiefs aren't spending that bye week in Vegas, because I know how I am after a week in Vegas. So hopefully they're aware and are resting and not having fun in Vegas. The final quarter of the season starts in Miami. Then they'll go from Miami to New Orleans. Then they end the season with 2 consecutive home games, first against Atlanta, then the Los Angeles Chargers. The Saints game's the one that really stands out to me. That's going to be a difficult one. That could be a possible Super Bowl preview. But I think the schedule makers did do Kansas City a favor. You got an NFC South dome team coming to Kansas City late to play that December 27th game. Who knows what the weather's going to be like. That's an advantage for Kansas City. And then, of course, an LA-based team coming to Kansas City in January is also an advantage. So the schedule makers did do the Chiefs a favor. When I look at the schedule overall, I see a brutal beginning, but a real favorable middle. And then the last 2 games of the season, the schedule makers really did the Chiefs a big favor. Now, I'm going to point out here where I see a minimum. I say minimum because every single year Andy Reid's been here, there's been a minimum of a 5-game win streak. So here's where I'm looking for that to happen. Okay. So where will the streak start and stop? And if you take a look here, I circled the Raiders game and I circled the Dolphins game, okay? Now, week 4 against Patriots, I do expect the Chiefs to win that game, but they're coming off Monday Night Football in Baltimore, so if they lost that game, I could see that as a possibility. If you notice, I highlighted the Bills here because that's a Thursday night game. Thursday night games are a little weird. It's in Buffalo, so I'm kind of giving some hesitation there. But if you look from week 7 to week 13, you played Denver twice, the Jets, the Panthers, the Raiders after a bye, and then at Tampa Bay. I would be shocked if the Chiefs didn't win all 6 of those games. That stretch right there, I really think the Chiefs could go 6-0. Now they're going to beat the Raiders at Arrowhead. That's pretty much a lock, and I think they're going to win at Miami. But the question is that Patriots game and that Bills game, I kind of I see some reason to think that those are games that are going to be more difficult, definitely winnable, but I can see some pause there. But that 5-game winning streak, and it's a minimum of 5 games, that's going to happen somewhere basically after the Ravens game. Now, am I saying they're not going to win against the Ravens? I'm not saying that at all, but that's a tough one. If you're going into that game and you're just chalking that to a win, I'd really question you. But I think that around week 5, if you get past the Bills, all right, if weeks 5 and 6, or even 4, 5, and 6 are wins, they're going to win up into the bye week. They're going to win after the bye, and I really think that these 4 games after the bye are going to be wins. At the Saints is going to be a tough one. So that's kind of how I break it down. I'm not giving a schedule prediction. And starting July 6th, I'm going to break down all 32 teams. I'm going to go into the schedule a little bit. But as a Chiefs fan, I thought I'd break down some things that I noticed with the Chiefs schedule and just share with you guys, my Chiefs fans. But hey, listen, if you want me to break down your team, leave a comment below or just shoot me an email and I'll make a video and I'll break down what I think of your schedule. So until next time.